تالتة ثانوي هانت خلاص، أنا قد التحدي، خطوة كمان والبكرة هعدي. تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي.
Welcome dear student to our channel مدرستنا 3 under the supervision of Ministry of Education. أعزائي طلاب الصف الثالث الثانوي، أهلا بكم في حلقة مراجعة النهائية لمادة الأحياء باللغة الإنجليزية تحت إشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Dear student, inshallah, this episode is special for the final revisions about the all curriculums studied in this years, okay? This student related to each chapters and give a quiz about the MCQ, multi-choice questions, to facilitating you to solving any problems that face you in your exam, inshallah. Okay, number 1, support and movement in living organism. First questions. Which of the following cells acquired a physiological support on watering the plant? Physiological support is considered temporary support. Why? Because dependent only in waters. So abundance in the water found in the cells, the temporary physiological support it occurs. Absence in the waters, loss the physiological support. Depending on the sub-vacuoles. What's the mean by of sub-vacuoles? Specific vacuoles found in rotate in the plant and any cells that found in the plant. The concentration of sub-vacuoles, the concentrations of the water in sub-vacuoles is less than that found in the root cells. Why? Because the water is transferred from high concentration of waters to low concentration of waters. Or another meaning, the water passing from low concentration of solutions to high concentration of solutions, from hypotonic to hypertonic concentration of solution. And the same meaning of those waters. The physiological support, mainly 2 types of cells. It's considered living cells. Number 1, parenchyma. Parenchyma, it's found abundantly in the plant, play an important role in storage of the nutrients, and play an important role in photosynthesis process, physiological support finally. Collenchyma, it's contained both of physiological support and the structural support. Why? Because the collenchyma, it contains the depositions, a specific type of cellulose found in its walls, so it's play an important role in the physiological support and structural support. Finally, a specific type of cells, it's called sclerenchyma, non-living cells. It's called stone cells. It play an important role only in the structure support. Why? Because the position is specific to substance, cellulose, and lignin. Okay, please follow me and focus on these questions. Which of the following cells acquired a physiological support on watering the plant? A, sieve tube, this considers non-living cells. Xylem vessels, non-living cells. Stone cells, non-living cells. Parenchyma cells is living cells depending only the physiological support. So the best answer is D, is parenchyma cells. That's right. Okay. Another questions. Treasure pressures arising in the plant cells under the main effect of. What is the mean by of the treasure pressures? When the plant gains the physiological support, the cell wall press on the cells. The cell membrane press in the cells. So arising is the treasure pressures. The treasure pressures is inversely proportional with the osmotic pressures. Why? Treasure pressures needing a large amount of water. So it's depending only on the physiological support. But another type, it's called osmotic pressures. It's increase, that means that losing a large amount of water. So both of them inversely proportional. Both of physiological, both of the treasure pressures and the osmotic pressures. So the best answer is, so the treasure pressures arising in the plant cells under the main effect of cell wall, plasma membranes, cytoplasm, okay, the parenchyma cells. It is found in the parenchyma cells. Why? So that it's considers in the physiological support the sub-vacuoles. Sub-vacuoles play an important role in the treasure pressure. Why? The self-vacuums is contained a large amount of waters, so the concentrations of waters inside it is lower than another outside the cells. So the concentration of solution inside it is higher than outside. The water passing from low concentration of solutions to high concentration of solutions. So the best answer is the self-vacuums. Okay, that's right. Okay. Another questions. Which of the following is correct about the last two groups of vertebral columns vertebra? Okay, which of the following is correct about the last two groups of the vertebral column? Last two groups of the vertebral columns. Now we are going to focus about the vertebral columns. Skeletal systems are found in the human divided to axial skeletons related to skull, vertebral columns, and thoracic cage. Appendiculars related to upper limb and the pectoral girdles, lower limb and the pelvic girdles. That's right. The vertebral column is divided to 33 vertebrae, 26 bones. It's divided cervicals, 7 vertebrae articulating. Another types is called thoracic vertebra, 12 vertebrae articulating. The last articulating vertebra, lumbar, 5 vertebrae articulating. From vertebra number 1, finally, the vertebra number 24, that means that are articulating. So it's called the H vertebra 1 bones. Finally, two groups, it's called sacrals and coccygeal. Sacrals is contain 5 vertebrae, but it's fused, so it's considered only 1 bone. Finally, coccygeals, it's consisted of 4 vertebrae, but fused, it's considered 2 bone. So the last two groups, sacrals and coccygeals, it means composed of 2 bone only. Why? Both of them vertebrae in each of them are fused together. So it's considered each one that's representing 1 bone. Now focus again these questions. Which of the following is correct about the last two groups of the vertebral column vertebra? They are similar in number of bones. That's right. Similar number of bones. Sacrals, number of 1 of bone. Coccygeals, 1 of bone. So the best answer is A. B. They are similar in the number of vertebra. No. Number of vertebra. Sacrals, 5 vertebra but fused. Coccygeals, 4 vertebra but it fused. C, they are connecting to the 2 ilia, not related to connecting with ilia. Okay. Ilia is connecting with the pubis anterior and ventrals. Ilia is connecting with ischiums posterior and ventrals. They have equal size, no, not equal inside. So the best answer is the similar. They are similar in number of bone. Okay. Another questions. What is the number of depressions in the appendicular skeletons? Last mentioned previously, the appendicular skeletons, it contains that representing upper limb, lower limb, upper limb with the pectoral girdle, lower limb with the pelvic girdles. What is the number of depressions found in the pectoral girdles? 2? No. It consists of 6 depressions only. 2 depressions is found in the point of connections between radius, ulna, and the humerus, one of right side and another in the left side. 2 depressions. There are 2 glenoid cavity, 4 depressions, and 4 depressions are found only on the knee joint in lower limb. So the total number is called 6 depressions found in the appendicular skeleton. The best answer is 6. That represents C. Okay, that's right. Another question. The connection of 3 lumbar vertebrae with each other required the articulations of process. Pay attention, please, and follow me. You have 3 vertebrae. For example, vertebra number 17, 18, 19. 19 connecting with 18 with anterior articulating process. 18 connecting with 19 with the posterior articulating process. So to 4 articulating process. Okay? 18 connecting with the 17 with the anterior articulating process. 17 is connecting with 18 with the posterior articulating process. So the total number 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, 4. That means that total number is 4. Anterior with posterior, anterior is posterior, anterior is posterior, posterior is anterior. That means that total number it is 8 articulating process. Again, this is a vertebral number 19, 18, 17. This connecting with this to anterior. This connecting with this posterior. This connecting with the uppers is with the anterior, and the upper is connecting with this posteriors to the total number in 8 articulations process. It is called the best answer is B8 articulating process. That's right. Now we are going to focus about the movement in the human being. Okay? Movement in the human being is related to muscles. Study the structures of the muscles. The specific type of muscles. Smooth muscles doesn't contain any myosin and actin, involuntary. Okay? Skeletal muscles and the cardiac muscle is contained of the skeleton, striated. What do I mean by striated? It contains both of thin filament, it's called actins, and thick filament, it's called myosin. So the both of cardiac muscles and the skeletal muscles, it's striated, it contains both of myosin and actin. What is the building unit of the skeletal muscle? It's called the muscle fibers. The muscle fibers, multinucleated. Why? To produce, it contains the many number of nucleus. Nucleus production the ribosome. Ribosome production large amount of the proteins that's needing the inequations that needing a large amount of ATP. Why ATP? Needing energy to contract and relax. That's right. Okay. The skeletal muscles, it consists of muscle fibers. The muscle fiber, it ranging from 1,000 to 1,000 small unit, it's called the myofibrils. Again, skeletal muscles, it's the structures unit, it's called the muscle fibers. Each muscle fibers ranging from 1,000 to 1,000 myofibers. What is the least numbers of the myofibrils equals the least numbers? That means that the number of muscle fibers divided to 1,000. The largest numbers, the number of muscle fiber divided 1,000. The largest numbers. Okay, that's right. The myofiber is divided to many areas. Now, area number 1, light band. It symbolized by A, bisected by Z line. It's called line, zigzag, Z lines. It consists of mainly of actin filament. And another area, it's called dark band, symbolized by capital letter A. It consists of 2 filaments. Thick filament, it's called the myosin, and thin filament, it's called actins. Bisected by simulated band, it's symbolized by H. The distance between 2 successive Z lines, it's called sarcomeres. That's right. The number of sarcomeres equals number of dark band, A, and simulated band is the simulated band, H. Okay? The Z lines equal sarcomere plus 1. Light band I equal sarcomere plus 1. It's calculations. That's right. A myofibrous consists of semi-lighted band, H, 6 dark line Z, and 5 dark band A. So how many sarcomeres are present in this myofibrous? As I mentioned from a few minutes about the sarcomere, it is a distance between 2 successive Z. Okay, that's right. That means that area is restricted only between 2 successive Z. It is symbolized by A, dark band. That means that the dark area A equals the number of sarcomere, and simulated band H equals the number of sarcomeres. So the myofibrous consists of 5 simulated band H. That means that simulated band 5 equals the number of sarcomeres. The best answer is 5, not 7, not 6, not 4. Finally, the best answer is C, 5. Okay, that's right. Okay? From contraction of the skeletal muscles. Please follow me in this part about these questions, please. For the contractions of the skeletal muscles, the presence of is necessary. Okay. When the nerve impulses reaching from the brain and the spinal cord, okay, to the point of connections. Okay? When the nerve impulses reaching from the brain and the spinal cord, reaching to the dendrites, finally the motor nerve fibers, the calcium ions, it's enter to the synapse. Synapse, it contains the neurochemical transmitter, it's called synaptic vesicles, that's found inside it. It's called acetylcholine. As soon as the calcium ion entered to the synapse, ruptures the synaptic vesicles and releasing the acetylcholine. When the acetylcholine releasing, the sodium ions, it's permeable inside to the nerve fiber membranes, so the outer surface is negative and the inner surface is positive, so the cells, muscles, fibers, it's in normal case, it's called contractions. That means that depolarized, okay? So it's contract. As soon as the acetylcholines releasing in the synaptic cleft, the specific type of enzymes, it's found in neuromuscular junction, it's called cholinesterase enzymes. Cholinesterase enzymes play an important role in the compositions of acetylcholine in two main compounds. Number one, acetic acid and the cholines, so the nerve cell retain to a normal positions, repolarizations. These repolarizations permeable potassium ions, outer surface of cells, and the sodium ions restricted only inside the cells. After that, by active transport, potassium ion returning to the normal position inside the cells, and sodium returning to outside the cells. This is the normal position. It's called polarizations. The nerve cells, the cells it regain in a normal position. It's called relaxations. If disturbances, it's okay. Cholinesterase enzymes may be causes the muscle spasm. Okay, so for the contraction of the skeletal muscles, the presence of the is necessary. Acetic acid and choline, no. ATP and the calcium ion. The best answer is ATP and the calcium ions. Why? Because the ATP play an important role in the returning the cell in normal position, both of contract or relax. That's right. فاصل إن شاء الله ونعود حلقة المراجعة النهائية لطلبة الثانوية العامة شعبة علم علوم إن شاء الله. انتظروني.
تالتة ثانوي هانت خلاص، أنا قد التحدي، خطوة كمان والبكرة هعدي. تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي هانت خلاص، أنا قد التحدي، خطوة كمان والبكرة هعدي. تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي.
أعزائي طلاب الصف الثالث الثانوي شعبة علم علوم، أهلا بكم. رجعنا لكم بعد الفاصل ونعود المراجعة النهائية لحلقة الأحياء باللغة الإنجليزية. Please follow me and pay attention again. Okay? That's right. Another questions. Okay? The motor unit is the junction unit of the skeletal muscles. Discuss with reference to this component. As I mentioned previously, the building unit of the skeletal muscle is called muscle fibers. What about the motor unit? Motor unit is considered the function unit of the skeletal muscles. The summations of contraction and relaxations is related to motor unit. Motor unit, each motor composed of, okay, a group of nerve fibers, okay, a group of muscle fibers, and one motor nerve cells or motor nerve fibers. When the motor nerve cells transmission the nerve impulses from the brain and the spinal cord to the muscle fiber, reaching to the muscle fiber, supplying 5 to 100 muscle fibers. So, the point of connections between terminal arterializations and the point of connections neuro-ending plate, it's called neuromuscular junction. That means that the motor unit is composed of 5 to 100 muscle fibers. What's the number of motor units? What is the number of largest motor units? Equals the number of muscle fibers divided 5, okay? What is the least numbers of the motor unit? Equals the number of muscle fiber divided 100. So finally, the motor unit is composed of motor nerve cells reaching to the muscle fibers, supplying 5 to 100 muscle fibers. The point of connection, motor unit, it's called terminal polarization. With the neuroending plate, with the muscle fibers, it's called neuromuscular junction. This neuromuscular junction is contained abundantly a specific type of enzyme. It's called cholinesterase enzymes. That play an important role in the composed of the neurochemical transmitter as the acetylcholine. It's decomposed into a specific type, choline and acetic acid. That's right. Okay. Hormonal coordination in living organisms. What about hormones? Organic chemical substance that's secreting from endocrine gland. What's the meaning of endocrine gland? Ductless gland. Secreting hormone directly in the blood without duct. So it's called endocrine gland. What about the endocrine gland? What is the specific type of the gland? Endocrine, secreting hormone only. Exocrine, secreting enzymes. Both of the endocrine and the exocrine, for example, pancreas, is considered endocrine gland and exocrine. Endocrines, specific types of beta cells that found in islet glands, secreting two specific type of hormones. It's called insulin and the glucagones. Testis, it's considered specific type of the endo and exocrine gland. Exocrine gland, internal secretion and external secretions. Internal secretion secreting is the saliva inside out the body. External secretions, for example, secreting is the sweat that's secreting during the hot day to regulating the body temperatures. It's called endocrine gland. Okay. The maestro of endocrine gland that's represent pituitary gland. It's composed of two lobes. Anterior lobe, it's called adenohypophysis. Posterior lobe, it's called neurohypophysis. The anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, it's considered site of secretions. Okay? Secreting tropic hormones, for example, follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. Luteinizing hormones, LH. Adrenal corticotropic hormone, ACTH. Prolactins, stimulating the mammary gland. Okay? Another type, growth hormones, is related to anterior lobe of the growth hormones in the anterior lobe. But posterior lobe is not considered site of secretion, but storage and releasing. Why? Because the pituitary gland, posterior lobe, connections directly with the hypothalamus. There is the neurosecretory cells found in the hypothalamus, secreting hormones that related to the posterior lobe and the storage in the posterior lobe and releasing. That's right. Now we are going to focus about these questions. Which of the following statement is not correct about the hormones? The concentration of the hormones could be regulating by another hormones. That's right. For example, thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, increase or decrease may be affected directly with the concentrations of the thyroid gland. That's right. It's called, right. The concentration of the hormones may have a stimulating or an inhibiting effect. That's right. Number C, the chemical structure of the hormone control its concentration. The strong, so the best answer is C. D, it's secreting with the limited amount whose disturbances lead to occurrence of disturbances in the body. That's right. Any increase or decreasing in the hormones causes disturbances. It's secreting a very little amount, 1,000 per milligrams. Any increase or decrease causes the hypo or hyper secretion with a normal than limit, okay, causes the disturbances. So the best answer is C. That's right. Another questions? When drinking a large amount of water, this lead to the space A, increasing TSH hormones secretions, thyroid stimulating hormones, increasing in ADH hormone secretions, decreasing in TSH hormone secretions, decreasing in VH vasopressin hormones and secretions. The best answer is D. Why? These hormones, ADH or VH, increase secretions when the osmolarity of the blood increases. That means that the water low in the blood by intake any substances that's related to, for example, salt fish. A large amount of salts causes increase the osmolarity of the blood. So the amount of water decreases in the blood. These hormones secreting directly when the osmolarity of the blood decreases. These hormones play an important role on increasing the water in the blood. That means that decrease the osmolarity of the blood and increase the osmolarity of the urines by decreased extraction of the urines and increasing the blood pressures. So the best answer is the D, decreasing in VH hormone secretion. That's right, okay? Another question related to the hormones. That's right. Which of the following process is stimulated by the hypersecretions of thyroxine hormones? Increasing the production of ATP molecules? Pay attention, please, in this questions, please, dear students. Again, which of the following process is stimulated by hypersecretion of thyroxine? Thyroxine play an important role in the metabolism, increasing the rate of the metabolism, the metabolic. That means that needing a lot, increasing the amount of ATP. Metabolism, that means that increasing the amount of ATP. So the best answer is increasing the production of ATP molecules. Why? Hypersecretions of the thyroxines causes increasing the rate of the metabolism. The metabolism is related to the production of ATP because the oxidation of the glucose is increased, so the amount of ATP is producing a larger amount. Why? Because in the oxidation of the glucose that's occurring inside the mitochondria related to productions of the amount of ATP. It's called adenosine triphosphate storage. It's standard reversal transfer of energy inside the cells and the storage in the cell and transfer in ODP, producing 7 to 12 calorie of the 712 calorie energy. That's right. Decreasing the speed of nerve impulses, not related to these questions. Increasing the glycogen amount that's stored in the liver, no. Decreasing the sodium level in the blood, the best answer is A, okay, increasing the productions of ATP molecules. Okay, follow me, please. Another question. The hormones that affect the metabolism of carbohydrate are secreting by the effect of A hormones. The hormones that affect the metabolism of carbohydrate are secreting by the effect of ADH, no, ADH related to osmolarity of the blood, osmolarity of urine. FSH related to affect direct both of male and female. Females play an important role in formation of the Graafian follicles. Graafian follicles, production or secretions, the specific type of hormone, it's called estrogens. FSH affect directly in the males, formations, seminiferous stipules, and not related to these questions. LH affect both of male and female. In males, secretions, formation of the corpus luteum secretions, the progesterone hormones, and LH formation the interstitial cells. The interstitial cells that related to the production of testosterone and androsterone hormone, it's called the group of androgen. ACTH is the best answer. Adrenocorticotropic hormones play an important role in the rate of the metabolism. Why? Because it affects the cortex cells that's related to productions of the cortisol and the corticosterone, play an important role in regulation the carbohydrate in the blood. That's right. Another questions. Which of the following hormones affect the digestion process of the piece of the bread as soon as the food reaching to the duodenums, okay, or the small intestine, or the stomach? A specific type of hormones, secretions, a specific type of gland, mucus gland, line in the stomach, secretion is called, the hormone is called gastrin, to digestion the proteins. As soon as the food reaching to the duodenums, a specific type of the gland secreting hormone, cholecystokinins and secretin. These hormones, two hormones, is stimulating pancreas to secreting the pancreatic juice. So the best answer is D, cholecystokinins. Okay? Which of the following hormones affect the digestion process of the piece of the bread that play an important role in digestion process in the bread? It's called cholecystokinins. The best answer is D. Right? Okay. Enlargement of thyroid gland lead to pathological features which differs according to the type of activity of the gland during this enlargement. Discuss this statement with reference to this specific type of the questions, inshallah. In this year's, it's called essay. okay? Not related to MCQ, multi-choice questions. It threatens essay. In these questions, there is first one, the site of thyroid gland in the human body. It's located in anterior on the front of your neck. It consists of two lobes connecting from anterior with the isthmus. So the thyroid gland, when you're watching it in frontal view, see the two lobes is connecting with isthmus, okay? And from the posterior lobe, not connections, okay, separations. Site of thyroid gland. Another type. Second, the function of thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, it's secreting specific two hormones. Number one, okay, thyroxine hormones and glucagon and the calcitonins, okay? Thyroid gland secreting a specific type of hormones. Number one, thyroxines, and the second, it's called calcitonin. Thyroxine play an important regulation the rate of the metabolism, regulation the carbohydrates, play an important role in the permeability of the skin and the hairs. Finally, second hormone that's secreting from thyroid gland, it's called calcitonin, okay? Play an important role, decreasing the rate of the calcium in the blood, prevent withdrawal from the bone. Why? When the calciums increase in the blood, causes withdrawal from the bone, causes reabsorptions. It's stimulation. That's right. Effect of hyper and hyposecretion of gland on the body. Hyposecretions called exophthalmic jewelers. Okay? No, this is related to exophthalmic jewelers related to hypersecretions. What else about the hyposecretions? Hyposecretion is divided. Normal hyposecretions due to deficiency of the iodines, it's called simple goiters. Simple goiters. Approachment in symbols in your eye causes deficiency in iodines. It's compensating by the eating a substance that containing for the salt containing iodine element. Acute hyposecretions in the childhood causes cretinism. What about the cretinism? Symptoms, it's a cretinism, enlargement of head, shortness of neck, delay or maturity or sexual maturity. Acute hypersecretions in the adult causes myxedema. Myxedema causes the obesity as a result of decreasing the rate of the metabolism, causes the obesity, decreasing the rate of heartbeat, dryness of skin and hairs. Finally, exophthalmic jewelers causes hypersecretions, enlargement of neck, protrusions of eye, increasing the rate of the metabolism, so loss weight. It's the opposite that's occurred in myxedema is obesity due to decrease of the metabolism, but in the exophthalmic jewelers, it causes the increasing the rate of the metabolism, loss weight. That's right. Another questions. Reproduction in living organism. Okay? Which of the following is used in a tissue culture technique? Tissue culture technique is a specific type of the mitotic divisions. It's called asexual reproduction, depending on mitotic divisions. Mitotic divisions is producing identical cells that have a number of chromosomes, a set, 2n, 2n. Diploid, diploid, haploid, haploid, as found in the parent cells. Tissue culture is a specific type of technique using in the carrots or tobacco. 2, solving the food problems. Fast way to increasing rapidly from the crops. So this technique is preferable to increasing the large amount of the crops. That's right. Which of the following is used this technique? Parenchyma cells, sclerenchyma cells, safe tube of phloems, xylem pheasant. Which one of them, A, B, C, or D, is considered living cells? Why? Because the tissue culture is needing to the mitotic. That means that living cells, it's contain nucleus. It has the ability to divide. So the best answer A. Why? Because the parenchyma, it is contain nucleus, is considered only from the cells. It's living cells, it contains the nucleus. It has the ability to divide it mitotically. That's right. Okay? So the best answer is a parenchyma cell. Thank you a lot for you. Now we are going to focus about, this is another point after إن شاء الله فاصل قصير، ونعود بإذن الله لتكملة المراجعة النهائية لمادة الأحياء باللغة الإنجليزية. طبتم وطابت ليلتكم إن شاء الله بخير.
تالتة ثانوي هانت خلاص، أنا قد التحدي، خطوة كمان والبكرة هعدي. تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي هانت خلاص، أنا قد التحدي، خطوة كمان والبكرة هعدي. تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي.
أعزائي طلاب الصف الثالث الثانوي، نعاود مرة أخرى لحلقة المراجعة النهائية لمادة الأحياء باللغة الإنجليزية، متمنيا لكم التوفيق إن شاء الله. Now we are going to focus another questions related to reproduction in living organisms. Please follow me and pay attention. That's right. Which of the following its presence is necessary for completing the asexual reproduction in Hydra? In Hydra is considered a specific asexual reproduction. It's called asexual reproduction by budding. A specific type of cells is called interstitial cells. This cells has the ability to forming the bud. This is grow, forming a new individuals. Finally, two individuals producing, not equal in size. So the cells, interstitial cells, play an important role in the sexual reproductions in, asexual reproduction in Hydra. Pay attention, please, dear students. The difference between the interstitial cells in Hydra and the interstitial cells that's found in the human being, we will discuss, inshallah, in next questions. So the best answers: interstitial cells or central disk. Central disk found in the sea stars play an important role in the regenerations, asexual reproduction by regenerations. Tentacles is found in the specific types of the diuria. Okay? Gametes is found in the living organisms that are producing asexual. So the best answer is interstitial cells. Okay, that's right. Another question. What is the number of complete meiotic divisions that occur on the germination of zygospores in the spirogyra algae? Pay attention, please. Conjugations, specific types of reproduction, it occurs in the spirogyra. When drought it occurs, deficiency of oxygen, deficiency of water. That means that unsuitable conditions. This living organism tend to asexual reproduction by conjugation. Two filaments adjacent to each other, forming conjugation tube. The cytoplasm from one filament to transfer to another filament, forming zygotes, 2N. This zygote, it's surrounded themselves by thick membrane, it's called zygospores. When the suitable improvement conditionals, zygospores are divided mitotically, forming 4 cells, each one of them chromosomal set N. 3 cells degenerate and 1 cell remains. This cell remains is divided mitotically, forming a new individual. Okay? So, what is the number of complete meiotic divisions? Only one meiotic division it occurs from the zygospore, producing 4 cells. Each one of them contain n number of chromosomes. 3 degenerate and 1 remain, divided mitotically. So the best answer is A1. That's right. Okay. Another question. Meiosis is space the conjugation and space the fertilization. Meiosis it occurs after conjugations or before conjugations? Follow conjugation. Conjugations it occurs the first. So the space number 1, meiosis, is follow the conjugation. And the fertilization precede. Fertilization doesn't occur without gametes. Gametes is formed by the meiotic divisions. So the best answer is meiosis is B, follow the conjugations and precede the fertilization. The best answer is B. That's right. Okay? Okay? Please follow me through the part about these questions. What is the infected phase for the females Anopheles mosquitoes in the life cycle of malaria plasmodium? The female Anopheles mosquitoes petting the human being put a large number of the sporozoids through the skins. This sporozoid reaching to the blood, finally reaching to the livers. Inside the livers, sporozoids is reproduce asexual by schizogeny, forming a number of merozoids. Okay? These merozoids attack a specific type, some type of red blood cells, and divided mitotically, producing a large number of the merozoids. Merozoids, it ruptures the red blood cells. This is the every 2 days is ruptured red blood cells and releasing the large amount of toxic substance, so the symptoms of malaria it appears. After that, the merozoids is transferred into gametocytes. These gametocytes immatures. When another female Anopheles mosquitoes petting the humans that's infected with malaria, so it's take the immature gametocyte. So the faces that infected the female Anopheles mosquitoes, it's called immature gametocytes. But the faces that infecting the human, it's called the sporozoid. Immature gametocytes is transferred matures, forming the gametes by mitosis. Pay attention, please. The specific type of living organism forming these gametes by mitosis, not meiosis. This is a special case. Forming male gametes and female gametes, okay? Male gametes and female gametes are fused together, forming the zygote. Zygote is transferred into a conate. Zygote is forming inside the stomach walls and transferred into a conate. After that, the conate to N is divided mitotically, forming the divided mitotically, forming the specific type sporozoids, and this is divided by the sporigniums. This infecting the human being through the infected phase is called sporozoids. Again, these questions: what is the infected phase for the female Anopheles mosquitoes in the life cycle of malaria plasmodiums? Sporozoids, no, is the infected phase to the humans. Gametocyte is the best answer. Zygote, no, or oconite. Okay. The best answer is the gametocytes. Another questions related to reproduction living organism. Which of the following structures in the life cycle of polypediums is or are formed by meiosis? Polypediums, a specific type is called regenerations. Okay? Alternation of generations. It's a specific types of life cycle, alternation of generation, both of polypedium and adiantum, and the life cycle of malaria. Alternation of generation, not regenerations. Alternation of generations depending into living organism reproducing sexually and come from asexual. For example, gametophytes. Another type, sporophytes, come from sexual reproductions and reproducing asexually. The gametophytes forming these gametes by mitosis, forming contain archegonia and antheridia, forming archegona. That's represent female gametes. Antheridia, male gametes fused together, forming the zygotes. Finally, gives the sporophytes. It's depending on the gametophytes and forming finally the sporophytes. Sporophytes is divided. It contains a large number of the spores. These spores, the lower surface is called, this spore is divided mitotically, forming the spores, and this spores is falling in the moist soils, humidity, and divided mitotically, forming the gametophytes. So the best answer is spores. Which of the following structures in the life cycle of polypediums is or are formed by meiosis? It's the best answer A, spores, not ovum, not ciliated sperm. Ciliated sperm helping the antheridiums to passing through the waters. Sporophytes is the specific types of the found in the alteration of generations in the life cycle of the polypediums. Another questions. What is the maximum number of tube nuclei in the pollen grain that's are resulting after the generations of flowered anthers, where each sac of the eggs contains 120 spores mother cells. Pay attention, please. Anthers, it's contain 4 sacs. Each sac is contain primary germ cells. Each primary germ cells finally give us 4 pollen grain and 8 tube nucleus and generative nucleus. One of them, again, each primary germ cells give us in each sac 4 pollen grain. Each pollen grains, it contains tube nucleus and the generative nucleus. Okay? So the one primary germ cells give us 8 nucleus. Okay? Tube nucleus and generative nucleus. But give us 4 pollen grain. So the numbers, the largest numbers is contain 110 spore mother cells. Spore mother cells, 120 by 4 equal 48. Okay? Each 4, 48 by 4 finally equals 1,920. The best answer is 120. That means that each spore mother cells give us 4 pollen grains. And tube nucleus, or two main nuclei, each spore mother cells give us 4 pollen grains and 8 male nuclei. Male nuclei is 3%. Tube nucleus and generative nucleus, it's come from mitotic division. So the best answer is 120. C is the best answer. That's right. And which is the nucleus? Similar to the endosperm. What about the nucleus and the endosperm? Endosperm become from fusions between one main nuclei with the 2 polar nuclei, forming 3N. Endosperm play an important role in nourishment the embryo. The specific type is exendosperm, endoendosperm. Exendosperm is found in monocotyledon, both of the integument, ovary, and the fuels fuse together, forming the grains in maize, rice, okay, and wheat. The endoendosperm related to dicotyledon, forming the seed. The integument of the fuels become harder, forming the seed. The seed coat is outer membrane for the seed, okay? That's found in dicotyledons. That's right. Which is a nucleus similar to the endosperm. The nucleus inside the ovules is called spore mother cell, a divided mitochondria, forming 4 cells. 3 generate and 1 remains. 1 remain, forming the embryonic sac. The embryonic sac lining with the nucleus. The nucleus play an important role in nourishment inside the ovules. So both of nucleus and endosperm play an important nourishment or nutritions. So it's at the same function. The best answer is the same functions. And which is the nucleus, similar to the endosperm, number of chromosomal set wrong, site of its presence wrong, time of the formation wrong. The best answer, the functions, both of them play an important role in nutritions. That's right. Another question. In which of the following plants does the embryo feed on the endosperm during its development? In exendosperm, the living organism in monocotyledons not feed on the endosperm, a little amount. But in dicotyledons, endoendosperm, embryo feed completely in the endosperm and the storage its nutrients inside the cotyledon. So it swallows in the legumes, for example, pea, lentils, okay, lupins, apple, specific type of cottons, specific type of dicotyledon. So the best answer, which one of them? A, B, C, or D? It's considered dicotyledon. Onion, monocotyledons. Maize, monocotyledon. Apple, dicotyledons. Palm, monocotyledons. The best answer is apples. Is the embryo feed completely the endosperm. It's called endoendosperm. The integument of ovules with harders forming the seeds. That's right. The best answer is apple. Okay? Another questions. In which of the following stages the chromosomal content of the cells doesn't changing during spermatogenesis? Pay attention, please, during spermatogenesis. okay? During spermatogenesis. During spermatogenesis, number one, it's called multiplications. Primary germ cells are divided mitotically, forming a large number of cells. It's called spermatognia, 2N. This is called multiplications. The growth, another stage is called the growth. Growth, spermatognia, increase in size, forming primary spermatocytes, 2N. This is two-stage, multiplication and the growth related to an embryonic stage. Maturations, when the human being, males reaching to the puberty, first meiotic divisions, it's okay. Primary, okay, spermatocytes, it divided mitotically first meiotic divisions, give us, each one of them, the secondary spermatocytes. Second meiotic divisions, each secondary spermatocytes give us 2 cells. Finally, 4 spermatid is produced. Last stage, it's called metamorphosis, transferring the spermatid into the sperm, reaching to it has the ability to penetrate and fertilize another ovum that contain hydrolase enzymes. So the best answers: A, multiplication and the growth stage, multiplication and the growth stage, growth and the maturation stage, multiplication and maturation stage, maturations is the best answer is A, multiplication and the growth stage. That's right, okay? What is the number of female gametes that are resulting from 5 primary oocytes? Equal 5. Each primary oocyte gives us 1 female. That means that the A is the best answer, okay? Another questions. What does the Graafian follicle contains in the 5D? It contains primary oocytes. Why? Because the ovulation process doesn't occur. Finally, these questions, okay? The direct reason for the irregular menstrual cycles in the females is the occurrence of the disturbances in the secretions of FSH and LH hormones. Why? Because this is related to the follicle stimulating hormones. In which of the following times from the beginning of the pregnancy of sex embryo can be determined? After 13th week, it's the males. After 6 weeks, females. After 3 weeks, the best answer is D. That's right. Okay? That's right. Pay attention, please. The specific type of questions related to essay. This graph, that's 3%. Cell number 6, this sections that related to TS, transverse section in testes. Cell number 6 is related to interstitial cells. Functions, it's productions of testosterone hormone and androsterone hormones. It's called androgens. Cell number 5, Sertoli cells play an important role in the immunization and nourishment of the sperm inside the testes. From cell number 1 to cell number 5 is related to the spermatogenesis. The cell number 1 represent spermatognia. Okay? Cell number 2, primary spermatocytes, the largest size, 2N. Number 1, 2N. Number 3, first meiotic division, that's 3%, secondary spermatocyte N. Number 4, spermatids, that's 3% N. Finally, 5, the sperm, it's come from the metamorphosis. Thank you a lot for you. I wish I could see you, inshallah. Best wishes for you. Good luck and goodbye.
تالتة ثانوي هانت خلاص، أنا قد التحدي، خطوة كمان والبكرة هعدي. تالتة ثانوي، تالتة ثانوي.